Hello, guys. Welcome back to the SADGA podcast. We've got a delightful lineup for you this evening, featuring three guys who have three legs between them, Mr. Craig Moorgas, Mr. Trevor Reich, and the youngster of the trio, Kean Dry. How are you guys doing this evening? Kean, how are you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
And Craig, what an honor it is to be in the company of someone who has already made a fast start to the Canon Open Series with a victory in KZN. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm glad to be in this tripod alliance here. You know, there's like three good legs between us all. So yeah, we'll just have to go on. So not a podcast, but a tripod. Yeah, no, it's great. I all fired up and things like that. So ready to go.
And Trevor, how many sleepless nights have you had since Mount Edgecombe where you squandered a 2-shot lead?
I had a couple of sleepless nights soon after Mount Edgecombe, but haven't had any sleepless nights since then. I'm focused. Don't you worry.
So that's good to hear. But Craig, let's start with you. I mean, you know, where to from here? I mean, you've already, as we touched on, made a fast start with winning the first event, and you know what's the goal heading into the Cape Town Disabled Open hosted by the City of Cape Town?
Oh, the goal is to win again, you know, and hopefully this time it's more relaxed. And Mount Edgecombe was a bit of a nervy one. The competition in the field is bigger here, so you know hopefully I can pull it off. I think you know it's going to be more relaxed for me, knowing that you know I've already got one under the belt. So and more importantly is that I get to go to the Champion of Champions in the end of November. But maybe I should play and deal with my handicap and challenge these medal oaks, because these medal oaks, I mean, Trevor, you know, giving away a 2-point lead after that. I mean, BMT was not there, dude. So, yeah, I think maybe that should be my aim, you know, that I kind of enter into the medal. Forget about the Stableford now. Maybe win the medal one as well, and then I've got two options to go to.
You might need a wheelchair by the time you finished.
Absolutely.
I was about to say, resting up, you're getting old, so maybe you should only play one event a year.
Now you see, when oaks like that talking, you know that irritates me. How many have you won, Keith?
Hey, I haven't lost one. I haven't played in lost one.
And the provincial challenge doesn't count. Okay, so yeah. So I've got 2 now.
Okay.
But Trevor, I have to ask. So obviously in round one in Durban, there were many shouts of "Come on, Burnley," which anyone that knows you for longer than 5 minutes knows that generally is a signal that you're doing quite well. But those cries were unfortunately absent in round 2, bar maybe 1 or 2 occasions. What happened in that final round, and what are you looking to improve on heading into Cape Town?
I don't really want to go back to the second round. I mean, I think I still had a lead after 9 holes, and Jan Potgieter made a 2 on the par 4 at 10 and decided to make a birdie at 11. So he clawed back 3 shots in a hurry. It was incredible golf. It was amazing to watch. I made a couple of rookie errors in Mount Edgecombe on the back 9. I never really came to terms with the course, even though I had a decent round on the first day. I never really quite was never comfortable on that golf course. And when the wind came up, I never really came to grips with where the wind was coming from at the end of the day. And unfortunately, on 2 of the par 3s, I hit my ball right over the back of the green into the water behind the green, and then made rookie errors from there. So in hindsight, it was a good learning experience. I made a couple of bad mistakes, never really hit a bad shot, but made a couple of poor decisions. And I think I just need to look forward now at the end of the day. So I'm hoping that with my home course knowledge at KDM, I can prevail there. I'm quietly confident, and I know the course relatively well. It's going to be a good challenge, and I'm happy that the guys are playing a lot of competitive golf. It's really good for SADGA, and I'm encouraging the guys to register for the world rankings, because you never know what's around the corner. We've been trying to get into the Paralympics for years, and it hasn't been positive up until now. But things can change in a heartbeat. We all know that. And if things do change in a heartbeat and you're not world ranked, and you could be sitting on the sidelines looking in. So I encourage all the guys to register for the world rankings, and because teams will be selected from those that are registered on the world rankings and those that are placed highest on the world rankings. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good challenge for me, and I enjoy playing competitive golf. And I know that there's a lot of guys in Cape Town that I play with regularly that never had an opportunity to play in Durban, and I'm sure they'll be firing when they get out in Cape Town. And most of them have had many rounds at KDM and understand the golf course. So it's going to be a good competitive event. And, if you don't qualify in Cape Town, there's still a couple more events to play. So, I think SADGA's done an incredible job by creating this event and giving us an opportunity to play competitive golf, because we haven't had that opportunity for a very long time, notwithstanding COVID, but we generally play one competitive tournament a year, and then we sit on the sidelines and wait for months before we play another competitive tournament. So it's really hard to actually get your mind around playing competitive golf when you're playing so sporadically at the end of the day.
And Kean, you one of the guys that missed out on Mount Edgecombe, but I'm sure are looking forward to playing at KDM. But what is the state of your game like, and what are you looking to fine tune ahead of the event?
So
Can't wait to hear those.
Sorry, Craig.
We don't have a long time for this,
Yeah.
Just a very short one, quickly.
No, so after the provincial challenge, I took a bit of I would say sabbatical, just time off golf. Started getting into some other sports, running and swimming. So winning the provincial challenge was quite a nice finish for that. I took about 2 months of not playing golf, and then slowly started getting back into it now. That's why Craig is smiling on the bottom of the screen here, because he's taken some of my money for the last couple of rounds. But my personal gameplay hasn't been great, but I've reached the peak and I'm starting to go down again. So it's I'm pretty excited to tee it up on I think it's the 26th of September.
Kean, are you sort of looking to just hedge your bets in case it doesn't go well? So, but if it does go well, you can say, oh yeah, and I haven't really played in the last couple of months. Is that what the tactic is here?
No, you just have to soften your opponent. You kick them when they're down. That's the thing. So I'm just softening them up. It's easier to get them down. So no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm looking to play all 3 of the remaining events. So I think the first one at KDM is obviously a good opportunity for us, or us Cape Town based people. We've all had a great chance to play there, and we've played there pretty much all the time. Most of us have been members there. But I think for me, personally, it's sort of just, going to the first event, I haven't even, to be honest, been fortunate enough to play in a disabled open at all. It's my second year of being disabled. So last year was cancelled. So I sort of just take it as it comes, try and ease into it, get the nerves, get comfortable with the nervous stuff, and then just move forward going from there. But hopefully win one of the 3 events or get into the finals for this event, and see where it goes. I'd like to take on Trevor though, so yeah.
And a question for Trevor and Craig. We can start with you first, Craig. But how would you sort of compare and contrast the nerves that you felt at the start of the the first Open Series event relative to the nerves you've felt in years gone by playing the Canon SA Open?
Yeah, I think, nerves are one thing, and because we've been on such a starvation type of thing in terms of golf and competitive golf, missing the Open for 2 years now. So the nerves were there, and when you kind of see the field and you understand who's in the field and that there is a real opportunity, to take this thing, then nerves became even more. And it was actually Trevor on day 2 that said to me, he was probably the last one before I went out onto the course, so you got this. And that kind of thing, because if I knew that if I, played a decent round of golf and didn't have to chase, then I would be fine. So I think, the nerves are kind of relative. I think for us now going back into our second one now, it's probably going to be a little bit easier. And almost more, and hopefully complacency doesn't come into it, and you're too complacent and you lose the thing, because the nerves are good, so I don't think it's going to be any different, because it's it's a competition, and it's a competition you actually want to win.
Yeah, and Trevor, I mean, do you sort of echo Craig's sentiments, or do you have anything to add in that regard?
Well, it's nice to hear that everybody in every division has a little bit of nerves, because everybody's competing, irrespective of your golf handicap or your disability. You're still in a competitive situation. So I think, COVID hasn't certainly helped me in my business, but it's certainly helped me in my golf at the end of the day. So I think I've grown quite a lot over the last year as far as my golf is concerned. I've put a lot of time and a lot of effort into my golf. I have a lot of self-belief, and I think that self-belief sort of eliminates nerves at the end of the day. And yeah, I can't say I wasn't a little bit on edge starting off, but I think I settled down pretty quickly. And I think if you study for the exam, there's a good chance you're going to pass it. But if you don't open a book, you might be in trouble. So it depends on what you put in at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. But Craig, it seems like you've already got a bit of support in the comments section through Opa, who says that who's nominated that you will win the Stableford division come the Open. So hopefully you live up to the expectation that he's just placed on you.
That's huge. You see, now I got the nerves back again now. You see, so now it's all going back to ground zero. My biggest fan out there, and now it's all going back to north now. So
that's your only fan, not your biggest fan.
No, sorry, my only fan. Yeah, no. See, I was like Kean and say, I don't really care what happens. I'm just gonna go and play it. And then, oops, okay, sorry, I'll win it, and it's all good. So that's kind of.
I don't get to
on the first one for Kean. I think the second one may be a little bit different. I think it's gonna be probably more nerves than anything else, because you can do well and you want to do well, and just play and want to play good golf, and especially on your home course, there's actually no excuses.
Well, you should have no pressure going into the next couple of events, because you've shed that monkey, and you can just slay that monkey at the end of the day.
That's right. You can only do better now. Unlike some of us here making excuses for not playing. I took a sabbatical. I'm thinking and spell the word sabbatical. I took a sabbatical and went to run. Like really?
Well, if you've taken a sabbatical to go and run, then you should run as fast as you can in the opposite direction.
Yeah, in the opposite, away from the golf. Yeah. I took a sabbatical and decided to come back and play golf. Really?
No, I was getting too passionate. I like winning. So after I really won the match play stuff, I just thought I'd take some rest, recoup.
You realized you couldn't win on the golf course.
You won the match play stuff on your own. I see that Chevy won the match play on his own. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I was talking about
you know,
it was Team North versus Kean Dry. Yeah, that's basically.
No, I think
was.
he needs to be careful what he says, because Opa could post another comment soon enough. Because if I'm not mistaken, Opa was your partner, and
Yeah,
he told me he whispered in my deaf ear that he carried you for 2 days. So
no,
you know, it's very nice. It's very nice to win, but you know, it's a team game, and this is an individual game. So you know, if you're going to get Opa on your bag, that might help you.
Yeah.
This is a roast of Kean Dry.
Mm-hmm.
But Kean,
You're making it easy. You're making it easy.
You say you haven't really been playing that often, but I mean, before your alleged sort of sabbatical, I mean, you were playing potentially even more often than Craig plays these days. So I mean, how many times have you played in the last 2 months, let's say?
Yeah, probably about 10 times, to be honest. So once a weekend, sometimes twice a weekend. Yeah. So before what was it? Just after COVID, I mean, I was playing almost every day. Yeah, but at the moment, I'm in a position where obviously I work full time. I'm not able to always play or play every weekend, but I'm getting back to it, and I am starting to enjoy it again. I think, like I said, I did go through quite a slump, so I think taking some time off golf was actually a good thing for me at the time. But yeah, I'm getting back to it, and I'm enjoying it again. So.
Okay, we've actually got a comment from Opa here, so let's read this for a second. See what he has to say. Let me just
see. I told you, carried Kean for 2 days, and now he's taking a break. Not only has he taken a break, Opa's taken a break too, because he's exhausted.
No, I'm just saying, Opa's not the lightest guy, eh? Also had to carry him, and that's quite a unique force.
Krista, it's fine. Maybe you can maybe you can apply to Cadaflam for a sponsorship for carrying Kean for 2 days. Kean, let's actually place on record what you think you're going to shoot for 36 holes, and then we can revisit it later on in the series.
Yeah, I think, like I said to you, in the lobby of this broadcast. I played Mowbray. I played 9 holes last week sometime, and it's definitely not playing easy. I think it's playing more difficult than I've played it in a while. The greens are quite hard; they're not as spinny, and if you're missing fairways, you're definitely in trouble. So, I don't know. As a fair comment, I'll probably say it's 160. So I'll say between 160 and 164. That's my prediction, yeah.
That's fair. And Trevor, I think, you know, as someone who's played KDM as often as you have, I mean, I think you'd be quite well placed to speak to what sort of skill set you think as a lower handicapper you need to bring to the event.
Kean's right. The course isn't playing easy at the moment. The greens are hard, but the greens are incredibly quick and incredibly true. So I think there's 2 main factors. I think most importantly is you need to hit fairways at KDM. If you don't hit fairways, you're going to be chipping sideways because there's a lot of trees and a lot of trouble. You'll find your ball, but you're not going to be able to see the green. So I think the 2 most important factors is, as always, putting, because the putting is extremely difficult, and you have to hit fairways. I think that's the key to doing well there. And you need to be patient. You need to be very, very patient, because you are going to make mistakes. And if you do make those mistakes, you need to take greed out of the equation. You just need to get it back in play and then just play from there. So if you are greedy, you're going to turn them into doubles and triples. And if you're not greedy, you might get away with a par or a bogey.
And Craig, would you say that a somewhat similar skill set is required for a higher handicapper to thrive at Mowbray?
Yeah, I think, and the big thing is, even if you are a long driver here, that stick can get you into big trouble. And on the first day, for instance, at Mount Edgecombe, I learned that the hard way. So kind of the strategy game forward is exactly what Trevor was saying. Is just keep the ball on the fairway. Even if it's shorter than you would normally drive, if you're on the fairway, you've got a shot here. And again, like Trevor was saying, you can see the green. You can drive 300 plus here, but you can be to the side and you can't see nothing. And you end up going in the thing because you get complacent. Hey, I've hit such a long drive, but it's going to take me a chip, and then I'm on and I'm putting for birdie. Katie will come back and bite you with that. So I think the guys will get here and they will see, hey, but it's relatively flat, and it's not a Mount Edgecombe that goes up and down, and there's not too many water hazards that really come into play. But it's got its own challenges, and the greens are one. I mean, the greens are running true, but it's just you just don't know. You will get moisture in the morning, then it's a totally different ballgame as you go per day. So I think the same methodology. I think those that played at Mount Edgecombe, I think you just need to leave that one in Durban. It's going to play a totally different course here.
Not every par 4 and every par 5 is a driver hole. I mean, that's the one thing about they're three short par 4s at KDM, and they need to be treated with the utmost respect. I mean, they can be birdied quite easily, but you can cry yourself to sleep if you don't show those holes respect at the end of the day. So, I think you've got to have a game plan, and you need to stick to your game plan. It's that simple. And if you hit a ball offline, you just got to put yourself back into your game plan and then just play from there. But you need to have a game plan, you need to stick to it.
I also think the one thing that we're not really touching on is actual weather. So Mowbray can play relatively short on a couple of holes when the wind is not blowing or it's blowing in the direction that you wish for it to. But the course can also play extremely long when the wind is in the opposite direction. So I think just basic knowledge of your ball flight and the way that you hit the ball will help quite a bit on this course. Sorry about that.
Not all of us hit the ball 300 off the tee.
I'm just saying that it would be good to know everything that you the way you play and make it work when you're playing in windy conditions too.
I think when the guys have a practice round there, they just need to have a game plan, and then they need to go out in tournament golf and just play to their game plan. And that doesn't mean you play conservatively, but you have a plan and you stick to it. I think a lot of the guys, the disabled golfers, they don't really have a game plan. They go out and they just play their game, but there isn't really a plan of action. And you need to have a plan of action on that golf course, because there is strategy and there are some tough holes. And if you're not driving the ball as well as you'd like to, you are going to hurt. And you need to just take your medicine like a man and move on. But playing too aggressively out of bad positions is going to cost you big time on that golf course.
Well, it seems like, Kean, it seems like Krista has devised a very, very simple game plan for you. And that is simply to hit driver everywhere and be as aggressive as possible and just go for it. Hit 14 drivers and just have fun.
He knows you well.
No, so Krista's the only person I play provincial golf with that tells me to drive on every hole. I think whenever I play with someone like Trevor or even the team captain Peter, I get advised to put it away at all times. So I think I think, Christian and I just had like a good run, playing with each other, like actually. So yes, it was a team sport. So I apologize if it came around that I was the one playing the match play events. But that Christian and I we were able to, like match our games up quite well. So he was always hitting the ball straight and like in the fairway. So he was always like allowing me to hit my driver, whereas everywhere else or playing with Trev or something, it doesn't always work like that. So yeah.
You should take your driver and hit it on every hole, Kean. You should hit your driver as hard as you can on every single hole. And close your eyes and make sure you've got a caddy that can find that gun for you.
No, I'm just gonna buy some old balls and hopefully they hit a couple of trees and come back into the fairway then. So
members bunker.
Yeah. Possibly not. I just moved clubs to Cleverly, so probably not. Probably shoot back into the trees.
But Trevor, I mean, how many over 36 holes of golf? I mean, how many shots do you reckon you are likely to save just because of like local knowledge and just knowing where to miss it and all that kind of stuff?
It's definitely worth a couple of shots. I mean, I certainly learned that at Mount Edgecombe, watching some of the guys play that are members of Mount Edgecombe, and I certainly cost myself a couple of shots, not knowing, sort of understanding where the wind comes from and understanding the difficulties on the golf course. So it has to be worth a couple of shots to me at the end of the day. It's certainly an advantage knowing your home course. I mean, if it's not worth something to me, then I deserve to get a kick up the rear end.
We'll
It's definitely an advantage.
I know there'll be a lot of guys lined up to give me a kick up the rear end, but it has to be worth something at the end of the day. And I have played a lot of golf there of late, and I do have an in-depth understanding of all the weather conditions and the challenges on that golf course. And I'm going to be keeping it to myself for the meantime.
Yeah.
And Craig, I mean, the amount of golf that you play there, I mean, you must know pretty much every blade of grass from the first tee to the 18th green. So how does your...
all the ponds.
Hey, sorry?
All the water.
And all the water.
How would your practice round for this event differ from your practice round at Mount Edgecombe, for example?
It would differ in terms of, I'd know better here which line to hit on or where to try and hit it. Like Trevor was saying, if the weather comes up, certain holes, the par 3 on the back nine, the first par 3 on the back nine, is you don't really want to take it over the water, but you should take it over the water, that type of stuff. So, that's in terms of the practice rounds, those are the type of things. I'm not sure what the wind is going to be doing at that time of the month. But, that's kind of the practice round for me, is just where to put it to be able to score and all that, to be able to get myself into a par or maybe even a birdie position to be able to score some points. In terms of the stable foot, but it's really just where to put it, and with Katie, it's key because again, you put it in the wrong place, even though it looks like you're going to score, it's going to bite you. It's just really, it will differ from Mount Edgecombe. Mount Edgecombe was playing blind completely, and for a high handicap, it is really tough, and it was a narrow golf course. It's Katie is not that narrow. Katie has got these trees, but they're not forgiving. So it's similar to Mount Edgecombe, where you've got the out of bounds on most of those holes on both sides of it. But it's a totally different kind of practice than it was then.
And Kean, I mean, are there any sort of holes you've kind of thought about as holes that you really want to try and attack and be super aggressive on, and that you think could be quite crucial in the context of the tournament?
Well, I'm going to just answer before Trevor says anything. He's probably thinking I'm thinking every hole. But no, yeah, they are. I quite enjoy the par fives at Mowbray. I'm fortunate I hit the ball okay, like in distance, not always straight, but distance wise. And the par fives on the course seem to be some holes that I can afford to miss the fairway and still, put it like relatively close to the green, I guess. So yeah, I would say the par fives generally. Like Trevor said, there's 3 short par fours on the course, but they're definitely not rewarding par fours. It's not something where you play it safe and you think you're going to come out with a definite score. Like it's sort of like it could be on the day you could hit a great drive and a terrible chip and you're in the water, or it could be opposite way around where you get a terrible drive and you put it close and you make a birdie. So it's sort of I don't know. I quite enjoy the par fives, but I wouldn't say that the par fours generally are easy on that course. They might be short, but they're not easy. So yeah, I think par fives for me are the ones that I like attacking and playing aggressively.
And Trevor, I mean, I suppose you know, a player of your caliber, you're just looking to play every hole well. But are there any particular holes that you think could be quite crucial?
I think the 3 short par fours are going to be crucial at the end of the day. I think that people are going to underestimate them, and I think if you can knock up a couple of pars there and not lose any shots there, I think you're going to get a couple of shots on the field. Kean's right. I mean, the longer hitters are definitely going to be able to take advantage of the par fives. I mean, I have a strategy on the par fives. I mean, I can't get up on any of them for 2, so I'm not even trying to get up on those par fives for 2. But if I can just put myself in the right position, I'm going to give myself chances. So, most times I'm going to make at least 1 birdie on the par fives just by playing conservatively and sticking myself in the right position. So, yeah, obviously always the par threes are key on every golf course, but I think that those 3 short par fours are definitely going to make a difference. And you need to think your way around those holes. If you don't think your way around those holes, then they're definitely going to bite you. So, if anybody wants a little bit of advice, 1, 3, and 11, be nice to them. They can be horrible to you. Just be careful.
And it seems like Christo's got some advice for you as well, Trevor. He says that the key may be for you to play 2 first rounds.
Don't worry, Opa. I've played the course a couple more times than I played Mount Edgecombe. So, I'll wait for you in Uitenhage. Let's see how you can perform in Uitenhage.
I don't think you want to poke the bear too much. I think he'll probably. I mean, he's so dangerous around there. I mean, he carried Kean for 2 days, and then.
Well, why do you think Kean would drive off every tee? Because Opa had never been in those positions in his whole life. I mean, Kean is hitting him 50, 60, 70 meters further than he'd ever been. So he was cheering him on to drive every time. Opa's never hit like a wedge on a par 5 before for his second.
I was actually watching our little interview from the match play series, and Opa was literally saying that he used to hit 7 irons in, and then he got an opportunity to hit wedges in. So
exactly.
I don't think Opa. Yeah, I'm not gonna comment too much. I think I'll WhatsApp him after this, and I'll just give him some of my own advice. But So anyway.
And now we come to clearly Craig's favorite part of the podcast, because he got it spot on the last time round. We come to the pod where we predict the winning score for the event. So Craig, we'll you can do the honors. We can begin with you. And what would you say would be a winning Stableford score for 2 rounds?
I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go 35, and it's going to be 70. So that's
35.
That's where I'm aiming. Yeah.
But the question is, if it isn't you that wins the event, who do you think could have an outside chance?
Whoa.
No pressure. We can move very swiftly along.
Yeah, no, I think you need to move away. And you're thinking I've got my money's on Kean to win the stable foot section. So yeah, but yeah, yeah. Don't. That's no. I'm not gonna hazard a guess on that. It's a fun course and it's a tricky course. So if you come out with good golf on the day, and like both Kean and Trevor were saying, and you be careful and you watch out with what's going on, a good round is in there. So it's very wide open. It's open for everybody. I mean, even though we are members here and we play this course all the time, this course will bite you. You can play. I've played 90 on one day, and the following day you've scored like 105 or something on the same course. Within the same week. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to hazard a guess. I'll be conservative. I'll plead the fifth with that one.
Listen, I don't think thinking about 90 and then 105 is the best thing to be dwelling in your subconscious. I think you need to maybe go for some hypnotherapy or whatever. Get that out of your system.
Yeah,
and Trevor,
I think this is what this needs to get it out of my system now.
Yeah, 100%. Trevor, what do you think in terms of the medal score for 2 rounds? What are you thinking?
I don't know. That's a hard number, but I mean, why do you have to put me on the spot and ask me to give you a number? I mean, surely we just have to between 154 and maybe 156. I think that's sort of somewhere around the number. Okay. If the weather's decent, if the wind doesn't blow. If the wind blows, it's going to be closer to 160. But if the wind doesn't blow, I think the guys can get down to 154, 155, somewhere around there. But it's all the first round is going to be played PM and the second round is going to be played AM. So that's going to have an impact. Invariably, the wind generally will pick up in the afternoon. So if you pick up the Sunday, a windy afternoon, it's going to be tough scoring. So, yeah, no wind, 154, 155, and a little bit of wind, you're going to go closer to 160.
And Kean, do you think something similar?
Yeah, I think Trev's pretty right. Like I said to you, like my goals are probably around 160. That I'm just not trying to set too big of a target for now. But yeah, I think 160, 164 in windy conditions, 155, 156 in less windy conditions. But yeah, that course, I mean, you can make birdies, but you can make pins pretty easily as well. So yeah, it's all about how the guys handle the game. And like we said earlier, you have to come with a game plan and stick to it. You can't divert from your game plan at all, because that course, like I said, will bite you, and it will bite you hard.
Yeah, 100%. Well, guys, best of luck for the event, and thank you so much for joining me tonight. Really appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, old man.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Thank you.
Have a good birthday tomorrow, Kean.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, enjoy it, Kean.
Thank
Cheers,
you so much.
He's 12 years old tomorrow.